You wouldn't use duct tape and drywall screws to fix a brand new car, would you? Well, why do we do that with our business? I'm Kevin Davis from Detailer's Helper, and today we're going to talk about avoiding the quick fixes for your business. Today we're going to be less practical and a little bit more philosophical about how you approach things in your business. The tendency for most of us, whether it's weight loss or business success or whatever it is to take the quick fix and try to get things done as quickly as possible with as little effort as possible. So the problem is that in that quick society that we've created, the same permeates our business decisions. So you may be a new person, a new detailer out there that just started not very long ago. You've been into it for 3 months and you start to think to yourself, why am I not fully booked like all these other guys I see on Facebook? Well, first of all, remember that a lot of these guys have been in business for many, many years. Some of these guys are 20-year veterans of the detailing industry, and it's taken a while to get there. Another thing is most of these guys are totally full of crap, so that's a good thing to remember as well. So don't compare yourself with what you see on Facebook, especially, or anywhere else on the internet for that matter. Let's talk about some of the quick fixes that are out there that can lure you in. They're an entire business and marketing model that try to get you to use quick fixes, and they use your pain in order to get you to buy their product. I'm in marketing. I do the same thing. You try to identify what will solve people's problems, but in some cases, these things may or may not be the best decision for your business. So you need to think through them each individually. I'm not going to blanketly say that all of these things are bad and you should never use them and avoid them at all costs. They're crooks. They're just marketing ploys, all of that stuff. I'm not going to say that. But what I will say is you need to look at your business in context to make good decisions. So let's take a couple of them out there. There's some of these what I call service aggregators. An example of that would be someone like Angie's List, which isn't specific for detailing, although I do think that they have car wash services and that kind of thing as part of their model. There are others out there. There's been one that's doing a lot of marketing right now. I won't mention them by name. But it's a similar thing to where a customer, they do a ton of marketing. They probably run multiple companies just like this. They do a ton of marketing in the detailing, car wash, automotive space. They aggregate those orders from the customer. So a customer calls from Dallas, Texas, emails from Dallas, Texas, fills out their form, whatever. They then take the money from the customer and they become the aggregator for that service. They then dispatch, they find local detailers that are probably already signed up for their service, and then they actually farm that work out. They have nothing to do with the work. They have really nothing to do with customer service or actually delivering the product. They're just the middleman for that process. I'm not a huge fan of this model because it takes you out of that initial loop. It takes you out of that customer service model so that you can actually identify with the customer, determine whether or not that customer is a good fit for your business, set the pricing for that customer appropriately for your area, for your business, for what you're going to deliver for the customer. And it just takes you out of that whole thing. So all they're doing is they're charging a flat fee based on a national average, maybe some regional averages too, and then they take a percentage. Someone on the internet on the forum said half. And they're charging way less than what I would recommend most of us charge. So that aggregator then takes you out of that. So the appeal to that is you think, oh, well, this company is going to give me a ton of business. They're going to send all this. They're doing all the marketing. They're sending a ton of customers to me, all that. So the temptation is to use a service like that to build your business. And that may or may not make sense for you. If you've been in business for 6 to 9 months and you're sort of slow and you're working your way through it, then I would absolutely say there's no reason to do that. If you're brand new and really just trying to get your feet wet in the business, try to get a sense of how to do customer service, how long each detail takes, what each detail is going to cost you, it may not be a bad way to go. Like I said, there are several services that do this, so you need to check the terms, how much it's going to cost, what the monthly fee is, all that stuff in order to do that. But I'm not going to say that it's not going to work for everybody, but I would caution you that that's not a way to build a long-term business model for detailing. It's just not going to be for any business really to have some other third party unnecessarily insert themselves into a process that they don't necessarily need to be in. I would rather see you hire a salesperson locally to come work for your business and to drive business that way than to use some national aggregator. So there are other services out there that will always promise big results. Yelp is one, and I'm not a big fan of Yelp because I think that they use guerrilla tactics to try to get you, to force you to use their products. They're already under investigation from the FCC and the trade commissions and that kind of stuff. So for racketeering and for poor business practice. I know that it can work. I'm not going to say that Yelp can't work for your business and push business your way, but just be cautious with what they do, because once you give them money, they will then strong arm you to make sure that you get things done. So that's another one. There are all sorts of them. Whether or not you have a website and you get these calls from search engine optimization specialists, you get marketing specialists, that sort of thing. So anytime that you get an ad or a call about something that's going to do something extraordinarily for you in the quickest amount of time, I would be very cautious about approaching it that way. So let's talk about how you can go about it. So if you're trying to just get started or you're struggling in your business, take a step back. Just like we talked about with pricing, with inventory, with all of that stuff, you want to really take your time and examine each individual aspect of things like marketing and Facebook and pricing and customer relation management. All of those things need to be looked at individually. Some of that stuff is not going to be in your wheelhouse. So then that's when you proactively go out and seek companies that can help you, or individuals. I would caution you not to respond to people that are cold calling you, but to go out and seek people to help you with those things. If you want to DIY it, there's a great website called Udemy, udmy.com, and it can help you with lots of things, from how to set up a Facebook page to how to set up AdWords to how to do Facebook ads, that sort of thing. It can help you go through that. Obviously, YouTube is your friend. You're watching it right now. YouTube can help you with all sorts of things about setting up Facebook ads, how to do the Power Editor on Google Chrome, how to go through Facebook ad setup and marketing and targeting and all of that stuff. So you can go through and use those instead. But let's, basically what you want to start with is, all right, how am I going to reach my customers? Where are my customers? What are my ideal customers doing? What do they want from me? How can I deliver that? And it may be a pain issue like we talked about before. You can use that same tactic. One pain for detailing is that people just don't want to wash their cars. They know they need to maintain them, but it's a painful process. So you can use that in your marketing as time savings, whether or not you're a mobile detailer, you do drop-off service, you do overnight service, you have enough staff to be able to turn a car around fairly quickly, those kind of things. So those are going to be good opportunities. Print, get your business cards going and start going to car shows. You may print flyers. I'm not a huge fan of actual printed material because I think it gets dated quickly, but you can use printed material to give people something to take back with them, keep the cost down as low as you can, and then drive them to stuff like Facebook and your website to be able to give them that information and to keep that information dynamic. So one example is to go to your local car shows and offer clinics for these guys, car shows and or car clubs. So you've got a local Corvette club, for example. These guys get together, they love their cars, they're meeting maybe once a month, maybe twice a month or whatever. Volunteer, find out who runs that group, volunteer to go to the car club and do a wash clinic. You want to show them on a car. Obviously, you've got to be sensitive because these guys love their cars and they don't necessarily like it when you point out imperfections in their car. But you're going to take a car, show them how their current wash techniques are causing swirls and scratches, for example. Teach them the proper 2-bucket method, or even a different method if you want to use that, O&R, waterless, whatever you want to do, whatever is appropriate for that market, for your environment, all that. You can teach them that, for example, show them how not doing it can do damage to their paint, for example, and then hand out flyers, hand out a discount for that Corvette club, something, not a discount necessarily, but some additional service for them that you don't offer anybody else. And so that's going to give you a built-in way to get new clientele, and especially for those particular cars, that can give you a way to get those cars that you wouldn't ordinarily do. Once you do a good job with one, they'll tell each other, you'll do a good job with others, and pretty much you have the whole car club that's going to help you do that. There are detailers around the country that have their entire business model is based on that, or started that way, and they're in the big time organizations, and people will ship their cars to them to make sure that it gets done right. So that's a good example. going to car shows and setting up a booth, or just walking around and talking to people, handing out stuff and driving people back to you. Those are some other ideas that you can do. Obviously, if you're doing a mobile, you can hand out cards while you're out in the neighborhood. You have signage out there. You see these with tree companies. You see these with anybody that's working on your house. They'll put a sign out front. So make sure that your signage is the same, and that maybe you can put out some flyers or something like that to help you. So there's tons of different ways to go about doing this. What I wanted to talk about specifically today is just avoiding the quick fixes. Resist the temptation to get impatient. I do the same thing. We've all done it. I just dropped a ton of money into some marketing stuff that ended up probably not being the best money I could have spent, because I wanted to get things done more quickly than I felt like that they were going. And in hindsight, which is always 20/20, I could have taken my time, spent a few more months doing it, and probably had more success and saved a ton of money. So I hope that encourages you. If you have any questions, let me know. I'd be more than happy to help, happy to throw out some ideas. Again, I'm not real big on discounts, but I do like offering additional services to draw people in, using flyers to draw people to your website, to your Facebook page. And just getting out there and meeting people, networking, and getting people to see who you are and see what you do and know your business. So I hope that helps. I'm Kevin Davis, and I'm doing what I do so that you can do what you do better. I would encourage you, if you're not currently a Detailer's Helper user, the tool belts are awesome. I just use mine to do this wet sanding project that I'm still working on for the Cobra, and I continue to use it with every project that I do. So I hope you'll check out www.detailershelper.com and see what it can do for you and your business. Thanks a lot. Have a great day.